Welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're very well. Thanks for joining me. A few days ago, somebody got in touch with me on the channel saying that she needs my help. She's got a 65-foot narrowboat in Bromsgrove, which is in Birmingham, and she needs a log burner installing ASAP. She's planning on leaving her current mooring at the end of March, heading towards London, and she needs the log burner installing. This being the winter, most of the log burner installation companies are jam-packed. The summer is when you kind of book all that stuff in. So she's got no chance of getting it done professionally, hence asking me. She said she'll make it worth my while, she'll cook me some lunch, and there's something really interesting on her boat that she thinks I want to see. So come on, let's go to Bromsgrove. Now, obviously, installing somebody else's log burner is no small undertaking. Obviously, there's a lot at stake. I cannot get it wrong. It's got to be millimetre perfect. But also, I need to take all of my tools. So, you know how I do things. I'm not the most organised, so I've really tried to get my head around all of this. Basically, the most important thing I've got to do is cut the hole in the roof. So for that, I need this. My tool of choice is a DeWalt jigsaw and about 1 million blades. I'm hoping that will suffice. That's what I use the jigsaw to cut the hole in this one. Should be all right. I've also got this, which is my angle grinder with a variety of different cutting discs on it. I'm really hoping I do not have to use this. I hate using this, but if needs be, then I will. The other thing I need is power. Obviously, I've got to pretend that I'm a self-sufficient remote worker. So I've taken this, which is the ECOFLOW RIVER Pro. It's the new one. I've got the small River, but this is the slightly large one. Obviously, there's more capacity in it. Other channels have gone through the technical and the geeky stuff of it all, so I won't bore you to death with all that again. But essentially, it's got the 3 outputs I need. So I've got 240 volt out in the middle of nowhere, and I can charge all of my DeWalt batteries, because this is going to, I've got a few batteries for this, but this is going to die a few times trying to make that big hole. So I need to be able to charge the batteries simultaneously whilst using it, and this will hopefully do the trick. So I'm as self-sufficient as I can be. I've got all the power tools and the power. Let's see if I've got the skill. Go on, let's go. Well, I made it. This is the Worcester and Birmingham Canal, and look how tiny the lock is. Oh, cute. These are narrow locks compared to the GU, which are wide. And here it is, the fireplace and hearth and the lovely Chili Penguin stove. It's got a stove at the bottom and an oven at the top, so you can cook food in it. And it has got an insulated flue consisting of 3 parts: the base, a concertina bit in the middle, and then the metre length. And then I've got to hack apart this beautifully lined ceiling to install the collar. So when I got here today, the hearth had been finished, the fireplace had been finished, and the stove had been bolted to the floor. So the stove is in place. My job now is to measure backwards from there, work out where the collar should be, and make the hole. Now, some of you may recognise this place as the home of the Black Prince Narrowboat holiday company, and this place is just absolutely amazing. Black Prince have got a whole load of boats, a whole load of hire boats. They've got an amazing fleet. But one thing I've discovered here today is that once the boat is 10 years old, they sell the boat and replace the hire boat. So as a result of which, their hire boat fleet is all pretty much brand new, and they are stunning. But the boat I'm working on today is an ex-Black Prince hire boat. But none of the Black Prince hire boats have wood-burning stoves in them. None of them do. So I presume it's for a safety thing from their perspective. So if you buy an ex-Black Prince boat, then you need to obviously install the log burner, which is what I'm here doing today. Here's the crisp, immaculately freshly painted roof, and I'm now going to cut a hole right there. So my plan is to make a hole in the roof and basically inch it out from there using the jigsaw. But I've come across 2 problems. Firstly, the curve of the roof is too acute for the collar, so the collar's going to have to be packed in with stuff, which is fine. That's what quite often is the case. The other problem is that there are steel girders going across the roof in 40 centimetre intervals, which basically means that where we've positioned the collar, there's a girder running right through the middle of it. My jigsaw is not strong enough to get through that because it's quite thick, so I'm going to have to get out the bloody angle grinder. boat smells amazing. She's making this pasta and bacon thing. It's like literally divine. And I'm on the outside of the boat and the smell is coming through the hole that I've made. The hole is okay, it's nearly the right size, so I'm going to inch it a little bit more after lunch, drop the collar in, and hopefully that'll be good. So far I've gone through 9 jigsaw blades, 4 drill bits, and my EcoFlow has charged the DeWalt batteries 3 times, so it's going all right though. I've never installed an insulated flue before, so I was keen to get my hands on some instructions, and these are the handmade instructions that we were given. It's really just working out how the flue sat on top of the stove, because it's not like other ones. This one kind of sits proud, and I just wanted to double check it all before we installed it. So after wolfing down lunch, it was time to set it up in its dry run. So no adhesive or cement, but it's all lined up. It's sitting perfectly square. These are the bolts I had to put in at the bottom to attach the flue adapter to the stove, to the appliance. And then it's got this concertinary bit here. And then the main length goes above it, metre length above it. So it's sticking out the boat exactly how it should. Well, that has worked out absolutely perfect. The collar is perfectly lined up. It's millimetre perfect all the way around it. So I'm well chuffed with that. It does need to be packed up on this side here, but the boat owner said she'll do that sometime later on this week, because the weather out here today is just not the right conditions to put in the adhesive. The cement at the bottom, she's going to do that as well. It needs these clips going around it, but this is just the dry run setup. There's obviously a decorative ring as well to go on the inside on the ceiling, and then there's the bit of trim, the bit of cherry trim needs to be jigsawed out a little bit and then put that back. But she said that she's going to be able to do all of that stuff, or get someone here to help her. But the most important job was getting the hole cut, getting the flue lined up, and getting it all measured and lined up with the stove. So she's well chuffed, as am I. I'm also well relieved. Now it's a case for me to see this special treat that she has got lined up. There's something on her boat which I've never seen before. And here it is. This rather space-consuming area here at the bow of the boat is the owner's onboard water filtration system that she has had installed for her. And the idea is this fills up the boat's water tank with lovely, clean water direct from the canal. Yummy. Let's find out from her how it all works.
It's the rubbish water that comes into the whole system.
From the canal? From
the canal, and It goes through sediment filters so that the pump doesn't wear out.
Okay.
So you're starting off with, this is a really heavy, this is like a 50 micron and then a 10 micron, 1 micron sediment filters. And you can see I've only done it a couple of times, and that's already getting quite dirty. Yeah. But what it means then is when it reaches the pump, this little pump here, it's already clean. It's already somewhat cleaned, and it's not going to really stress out the pump. Okay. So then from there,
there's another series of
There's another
filters.
series of filters.
Oh, and they're big
here.
ones. They're big ones.
These are big ones, and I'm thinking I probably will change the sediment filters to this size. They're double the size.
And do these just kind of twist
They're
out?
Just, screw in, screw out.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's a sediment filter, just another sediment filter. That's a carbon and sediment filter. So the carbon is for the heavy metals. Yeah. And then that's just carbon. Right. So it's kind of doing carbon sort of twice. Yes. Then I've got this monster, which is nitrates and nitrites. Nitrates and nitrates. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then this is the UV filter. Wow, look at that. Aqualite. And then it comes out of here and through a food grade hose into the water tank. Oh, okay, so it goes from there to the water tank. Yeah, so I connect the food grade hose. That actually looks quite clean in there, doesn't it? Yeah. No, it is clean. Okay. Easily? No, it's not. I'm only kidding. Yeah, I hope you're going to be all right. Filters down here. So then, when the pump starts. Oh, so when you want to use water, when I want comes to from use the tank. Water, it comes from the tank, and it goes through another sediment filter. Yep. The reason why it goes through another sediment filter is because it's then got this heavy duty carbon that any heavy metals left in it should get dealt with by this. This is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got bone char in it. Oh, wow. and then it goes through another 12 volt UV filter that is activated every time the pump goes. And you've got the sediment filter, because if there's sediment, the UV filter won't work. So that just makes sure that, you know, there's another.
So the UV filter will only work in like really quite pure water.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then it's UV. You know, I've got another thing that takes out the bacteria
and then from
viruses, and then that goes through the pump to the taps.
Wow. Well, that was a day really, really well spent. Boat owner is really happy with the fact that the collar's installed, it all lines up, it's all out of the way. There's a little bit finishing that she and the guys up there can do, just the cement around the bottom. We had the people from Chili Penguin on the phone a few times, because just to double check that the install where the flue met the appliance, just wanted to make sure it's right, because it sits proud of the appliance, which is unlike these non-insulated flues which go right down to the appliance. So it looked a bit weird. I had to drill a few holes to clamp it all in place, so just wanted to double check all that before we did it, because obviously there's no going back. But yeah, it all worked out really, really well. That Chili Penguin stove is stunning. I think they are expensive. It's about $2,000, whereas this one is about 350 quid. So, you know, it's a major difference. But I think if I was ever to do another install, maybe on Project 57, I'll look to put in a stove with an oven unit in it as well, because, well, it just makes sense. The thing that doesn't make much sense was that water filtration system she had. When she had it installed, the people who installed it for her advised her against having it installed. It works. It makes much more sense if you're out at sea and you've got salt water which you need to clean, because it's essentially much cleaner water to begin with. The water in these canals is just disgusting, and you saw on the first filter the colour of it after a couple of uses. She is not using it. It hasn't gone through all the tests and all the examination of the water, so she's not using it. I'll put that as a caveat. And when she was making me tea or anything, or boiling the pasta for lunch, I did look. She was using bottled water, thank goodness. But there's so much that can go wrong. There's all the management of the filters themselves. You know, just having a normal tank on this boat like I do, I've still got to manage the water level and work, you know, always kind of have in my mind how much water I've got. She's got that consideration to have, but also what the state of all the filters are. Not to mention all that plumbing, all those joints, all those elbows. I mean, anyway, so as I said, yeah, she was advised not to have it installed. The reason she has it is because she's going to be a continuous cruiser and doesn't want to waste time at water points filling up with water. So I don't know. It's if it works, then good luck to it. It'd be interesting to find out. So we'll keep in touch, and I will let you know if it ever gets commissioned, and once and see what the kind of the cleanliness of that water's like. So I might have a cup of tea on board with her one day using Canal water, but we'll see. This thing worked out really well. On the roof of the boat, with no access to any other power, I was able to charge all my DeWalt batteries right easily. I was interchanging them and stuff, so it worked out perfectly. So yeah, I really recommend these. I'll put a link to the description of this in the description of the video. So if you want to buy one of these, and click on the link and you get a discount. So do that, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.